added in communities from Red Hook to Queens West. It's no wonder that ferries are making a comeback. They're fast, they free up your hands to read the newspaper, and they offer some pretty spectacular views. And today, in line with the sustainable transportation goals envisioned by Plan YC, we're now looking to expand ferry service to even more waterfront communities. And there's no better place to test the waters, if you'll pardon the pun, than right here in the Rockaways. Ferry service for the Rockaways is not a new idea. It's something that hardworking families here in these neighborhoods have been calling for decades. And the question was never should we do it, but how can we do this? One of the strengths of Plan YC is that it has encouraged people of different interests to work together for New York's future. And now we're inviting private ferry operators to enter the discussion and help us come up with a viable plan to serve the Rockaways. Tomorrow, May 9th, the city's Economic Development Corporation will issue an RFEI, which is called a Request for Expressions of Interest, for ferry service between Lower Manhattan and the Rockaways. Ads will run in local papers notifying private ferry service operators of the opportunity, and eligible operators will have about 6 weeks to submit a response, and we look forward to reviewing the responses and are eager to begin creating a pilot ferry program for the Rockaways. Working together with Speaker Quinn and Council Member Joe Adabo, who's with us, we will also look at ways to help the winning respondent meet the costs associated with the pilot service. Just last week, new ferry routes opened up between Yonkers and Lower Manhattan. That service is run by a private operator who receives some financial assistance through a grant from the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation. This public-private partnership has already improved transportation options for Yonkers residents, and it's a model that may work for the Rockaways as well. Right now, Rockaway residents who drive to work in Manhattan spend about 90 minutes commuting each way. And we estimate that ferry service could shave about 30 minutes off each end of this commute. That would greatly improve the quality of life for many people in the Rockaways, replacing hours spent in traffic with a beautiful ride along New York's coastline. Over the long term, transportation alternatives like ferries will improve the quality of life for all New Yorkers by reducing congestion on our roadways and decreasing the carbon emissions that are fueling global warming. The congestion pricing plan that I outlined a few weeks ago on Earth Day will help guide these efforts. But before we can implement that plan, we must first expand the capacity of our mass transit system so that the 5% of New Yorkers who do currently drive to work in the congestion pricing zone will have better alternatives on subways, buses, and ferries. And the request that we're issuing tomorrow represents a solid first step towards achieving that goal. Now, there are many people who are working together to make the long-held dream of ferry service for the Rockaways a reality. And one of them who just works tirelessly for his constituents is Councilmember Joe Adabo, who he really does. He does deserve. I've gotten to work with this guy for the last 6 years, and let me tell you, he does work very hard. He cares, he's smart, he's practical. He tries to get things done rather than just stage photo ops, and this is a district that is well represented. Joe, after those glowing words, you better say something nice about the mayor.
Yeah, right, I'll think of something, I'm sure. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. It is a great day here in Rockaway, which has been experiencing a renaissance in the past couple of years. So, Mr. Mayor, this is, again, a positive step forward, and I want to thank you and your administration for listening to the people, bottom line, and I appreciate that. But we're not only taking a positive step forward for Rockaway ferry service here today, we're taking a positive step forward for transportation opportunities for people here in Rockaway, which has seen a population growth unlike many communities in the city. We're also having promoting the opportunity for important mass transit. And obviously, as we talk about 2030 and sustainability, this is an important part of that, Mr. Mayor. So again, I thank you very much. I look forward to working with you and Speaker Quinn's office and making this idea of a Rockaway ferry become a reality. And any help I can be in that endeavor, please let me know. But thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for listening and acting as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I thought we'd have some experts who can answer some questions. Jim DeSimone is the Department of Transportation's head of ferry service. People assume that means the Staten Island ferry only, but that is not the case. And we have Joan McDonald, Senior Vice President of Transportation for EDC, with us as well. We're happy to take some questions about ferries and the Rockaways. Yes, miss?
How much do you think it will cost commuters to use the
I have absolutely no idea. Do we have any idea? We do.
That's actually the reason we are issuing the RFEI. We've done some preliminary analysis about what the potential ridership might be, what the potential cost to operate service might be, but we're really looking to the experts, the ferry service operators who have already run service, to see what their needs would be.
Where will the terminus be in Rockaway?
What we're initially going to be releasing is Reese Landing with a stop in Lower Manhattan, most likely Pier 11. But what we're also going to be asking for in the RFEI is that if operators want to add additional stops, such as the the Brooklyn Army Terminal or other stops, they could let us know and let us know what the cost of that would be on top of the two initial stops.
Yes, sir, in the red jacket.
Joe Hardigan, the ferry advocate from Rockaway. Look, thank you very much, Mayor, for coming here. I agree with your pricing plan. What I would like you to do is consider the airport. We did a test ferry run from Wall Street to the airport in 45 minutes, which beats that $6 billion project. Also, that would put bodies in the seats and have the ferry running by Rockaway all day long. And I appreciate you coming tonight.
Yeah, I think what we have to do is keep looking at new things. I've never understood why the ferry from LaGuardia, for example, into Manhattan doesn't make a lot of sense. The airport's right at the water. The traffic is terrible at rush hour, and for some reason or other, it doesn't seem to work. But we're going to try every one of these things. And
Thank you very much for coming.
No, thank you. And we're going to give a chance for people who are innovative and creative and are willing to risk their own monies to see if they can come up with some new ideas. I don't think we have all of the ideas, sir.
Non-ferry question.
Let me come back to the ferries and see. Yes, ma'am.
You said that you were going to be looking at ways in the winning proposal that the city would help the winning proposal meet the cost. So we're talking about public subsidies, and how would that work?
Well, I think that there's no question that particularly at the beginning, it takes a lot of money to get a boat, and it takes a while to build an audience or a clientele. And one of the things that we can do is to give some people some support while it gets going. In the end, mass transit is always something that government has subsidized, and that's one of the reasons for the congestion pricing thing, is to try to make it a little more expensive for people to drive and to use the revenues from that to pay for mass transit, whether it's the investment in building or subsidies. That's in everybody's interest. It's much more efficient from a ecological point of view, and look, when you see what the traffic is.